Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. And as we do every single week from our live show, giving you guys a mailbag, answering every single question that you have heading into Week 3's matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be a big game. And to me, it's a must-win game. A must-win game for the Patriots. I think the Steelers and the Pats might be fighting for a possible playoff spot, and the Patriots need that tiebreaker. You see that line right there, 1.5. Well, the Steelers are favored, so they think that Pittsburgh is going to take this one. But I'm disagreeing. I think the Patriots are going to take this one. So if you want the Pats to beat the Steelers, go ahead. Hit that thumbs up icon right now. All right, let's start with the Super Chats that we got during our live show. Coming in from Chris LaPlante. Shout out to you with a 20. Glad to see Christian Gonzalez practicing. Hopefully, he'll be ready to play soon. Yeah, we were waiting the news for it, and Mike Vrabel went in his weekly presser on Wednesday, and they asked him, where's the status with Christian Gonzalez? And he said he's going to do some stuff at practice. And then he was limited in practice on Wednesday, and they asked him, do you think there's a chance to play? Well, he said, sure. So maybe if he's healthy, he's going to play. But I also want them to kind of ease their way into it because there could be easily a chance for a setback. And they also asked Christian Gonzalez, did he suffer a setback? And he said, I'm not going to comment on that. So what do you think that says? He suffered a setback, and that's why it took him so long. But I'm happy he's back on the practice field. Thumbs coming in with a $2 super chat. Playoffs or Patriots in the playoffs this year at wild card? Well, that's the biggest thing about this game is, I said it before, you're going to have a tiebreaker against the Steelers. And the Steelers and Patriots, we know how Mike Tomlin is, with him always being around 500, 9-8, 10-7, and with both teams how they are, they could be fighting for that 7th seed. And this win will go into the 7th seed for the playoffs. The Patriots got to get that tiebreaker. That's why this game means so much. Mr. Positive Vibes coming in with a $2 super chat. 2 sacks on Rodgers? Well, the Patriots, last year they were last in sacks. 28 of them, to be exact. 28. And this year, they have 9. They lead the league. If they can get to Aaron Rodgers, who's a shell of himself, he can't move around the pocket like he used to. Harold Landry, Milton Williams is getting pressure. Christian Barmore is getting pressure. I would say 2 sacks, maybe even 3 on Rodgers this Sunday. Charlisha Johnson, how many touchdowns will Harry get this Sunday? Hunter Henry, I suppose that you're trying to say, Charlisha. And I would say that once they get into the red zone, the Patriots have really converted in red zone lately. And he hasn't scored a touchdown yet, and neither has Stephon Diggs. I think one of them will get into the red zone. I do like how the Patriots have kind of implemented more of the play action than we saw in Week 1. And once you implement that play action, you get to fake the handoff and find Hunter Henry over the seam. But there's also a possibility it could be Austin Hooper. One of the two, but I think that you predicted it right. I think a tight end is going to score a touchdown later this week. The old Belichick. Oh, commenting on our videos and not hanging out with your 24-year-old girlfriend, huh? Well, what is up with Pop Douglas? Well, Belichick seems to be keeping up with the Patriots a little bit, even though banning them from the UNC Scouts. But let's talk a little bit about Pop Douglas. And everybody thought that Pop Douglas was going to be a breakout candidate this upcoming season for what we saw him do the past couple of years. And I thought he was going to be a breakout. Well, Pop has been a shell of himself of what we've predicted. Pop Douglas was the top wide receiver in training camp. He was Drake May's favorite target. And since then, it's kind of like really, really died off. Week 1, he played 45 snaps. He had 7 targets. Drake Maye missed him on a couple times, 2 receptions. He did have a touchdown. He's caught the first touchdown of the Patriots season, but finished with negative yards. And then in week 2, only 15 snaps, people. 15! 1 target, 1 catch for 8 yards. He was completely phased out of the offense. And people might be thinking, well, do you think Efton Chisholm might get a chance? Well, Efton Chisholm's still been inactive. He's still been a healthy scratch. I think that the Patriots are trying to get their running game going. And when you have guys like Mac Hollins, who's big, you have Stephon Diggs, you have Kayshon Boutte, you don't need that slot out there when you're trying to implement the run game. Pop is way too small to be a blocker. He's I want to say he's 190, 190 pounds. He cannot get out there and block your defenders. So you really don't want him on the field. And he dropped a crucial pass in week 1. So I think might be getting phased out of this offense. It's kind of a question mark. But I'm interested to see of how much he'll be more involved in week 3 compared to last week. But if you guys want Pop Douglas to be more involved, if you want him to get into this offense, because we see he has the ability to break out, go ahead, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video right now. I want to see after Chisholm, man. I really, 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 really do. Anthony Sanchez, shout out to you with the $2 super chat that came in during our live show. Is the Steelers' O-line better than our D-line? I'm going to say no. I think that the Patriots' defensive line is one of the best defensive lines that we've seen. I mean, when you look at what they've done throughout the first 2 weeks, they lead the league in sacks. They have the most pressures in the league. And there's not really many people like Broderick James, their center, Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick, Troy Faltanu. Like, I like those names, but when you put Christian Barmore, when you put Milton Williams, who has been one of the best interior defensive linemen this season, and you put him alongside Kayshon Boutte, who's also getting, I like the Patriots' defensive line more than anything, and I think they're a top 10 in this league. Crystal Plant, how good was Boutte's touchdown catch? Oh, well, you've seen it. I think we all have seen it, and he has been the real breakout candidate for the Patriots. Everybody thought it was going to be Pop Douglas. Well, we saw during the joint practices, he was going off, and he was going off against the Raiders. Well, now, one-handed touchdown catch. He came in. The ball was thrown perfectly by Drake Maye right in the bread box. One-handed catch. It was perfect. And I want to see Boutte get a lot more targets. I want to see him get a lot more catches. I want to see him get involved because when you get that threat of Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, and soon enough, it's going to be Kyle Williams in there. This offense is going to be threatening. And I also want to see Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson get involved too. Going to get some more of your questions coming up in just a second, but I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. I made my lineup for this weekend's games, and that is last week's lineup, Mr. Moose. But let's look at it. Kayshon Boutte did score a touchdown. Tua went off. Tua went off. It was unfortunate. This is my lineup for this week. Patrick Mahomes, I got the more on the max discount. Just 1 passing yard. Stephon Diggs, I think he's scoring a touchdown later this season. His first as a New England Patriot. And Drake Maye, keeping it going. Give me the more on 220.5 passing yards. You can make a lineup just like that one when you download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. I want to make a Prize Picks lineup once again. I got my one for Sunday's game. We'll check up on it once the game gets going because we are live every single game at noon for this one against the Steelers. Let's get back to the question. We got Dixie. Shout out Mr. Normus. Do we think Josh McDaniels is just easing Maye into this offense? I mean, look at Mac Jones' rookie year. The amount of points and yards the first game are nearly identical. And it's hard to say because, I mean, with Mac Jones' first year, the Patriots, their wide receiver core, what was it? Kendrick Bourne had the most yards. I think he's trying to ease him into it, but he's also, Maye is learning a new system just like Mac Jones was. I guess you could say he's easing into it, but I also didn't like what I saw from McDaniels going in week 1 where he only ran the ball twice in the second half. You have to balance. And we saw going into week 2, they're balancing it. And Drake Maye looked comfortable in the pocket. That wheel route to Ramondre Stevenson, I don't know how many times I've watched it already. I know how many times everybody else has watched it, probably thousands. It feels like he's getting comfortable, and they might be able to unleash Drake Maye with this offense. But it looks a little different. I mean, I don't see as many designed pass plays to the running backs a little bit. But I would expect them to kind of ease it way and unleash the full offense once we get later in this year when McDaniels and Drake Maye have more chemistry. Vicious Tuna, do we move Mapu back to safety? I mean, the safeties have not been great. Craig Woodson and Jalen Hawkins have just been average. I mean, Jalen Hawkins did not play good week 1. He did a little bit better week 2. Craig Woodson did not play good week 1. He played better week 2. But Mapu has been solid at linebacker. I think that is his position. I like him, especially with how much the linebackers have been struggling with Robert Spillane, with Christian Elliss. There's a reason why Mapu got in the game in the first place. That interception specifically was because Mapu was playing linebacker. If he was playing safety, that wasn't going to happen. I think he's better at the linebacker position. I think he is a better pursuer of the ball rather than dropping back into coverage. Even though he still has that experience dropping back into coverage, I want to keep him at linebacker. Mike Vrabel's burner. Who has surprised you most on the Pats so far this season? Well, I just talked about the linebackers, and that has been the biggest surprise this season for the Patriots. And no, it's not been in a good way. Robert Spillane was supposed to be one of your captains, coming over from the Raiders, where he was one of the top tacklers on this Raiders team. He was one of the NFL leaders in tackles. The guy that was coming off of a breakout year and coming over to the Patriots, where you're like, oh, this team is going to be really good. You get Robert Spillane, who has been great with Las Vegas last year. Coming over this year, he's been much of a disappointment through the first 2 weeks. He's been bad in coverage. He cannot drop back, and we saw Devin Achane go completely off against this New England team. I think he had 90 yards in receiving, and that's who was guarding him was Robert Spillane. Christian Elliss hasn't been good too, but the one stat specifically that you saw is that Robert Spillane can't tackle either. Both him and Christian Elliss are first and second in the league in missed tackles. Spillane in 2 games has missed 8. Christian Elliss has missed 6. So it's really interesting to see just how bad he has been when you don't expect him. But I also just don't think he's been playing in the right type of system with Mike Vrabel's defense. And then Doug Hyde had another stat for us, and Spillane and Elliss are also 2 of 8 linebackers who have allowed 100-plus yards in coverage through 2 weeks. I think the Patriots are trying to put Spillane back in coverage a lot, and that's not the type of player that he is. He is a guy that's, hey, you're going to go get the ball, and you're going to pursue it. Not, hey, we're dropping back into coverage. And that's what I was talking to the Raiders Report host, Mitchell Renz, about, was he is not your, hey, you have to do this specific type of defense. You got to do this, this, and this, and this. With Spillane, he is best when it's like, hey, you see ball, you go get ball. Just like Gronk. Remember Gronk back in the day? Hey, Brady passes you the ball. You catch ball. That's basically it. And I think that Spillane is going to get better as this season progresses, as they realize what the type of player he is and put him in that type of system and type of kind of scheme that will allow him to be the most productive that he can be. I don't expect him to keep up missing 8 tackles. But going into the Steelers game, you got to be better. You have to be better, because if you miss tackles against this team, they're going to take advantage, and you got to be better. I'll ask you guys, who was the most surprising player, or who surprised you the most this season? Go down in the comments section right now, and while you're down there, if you guys made it to the end of the video, you probably like what you saw, you like your questions, and you can get in our mailbags every single Wednesday when we have our live shows. But so you don't miss out, subscribe to the channel, and as always, let's go Pats.